What is up? And welcome back to 24 Minutes of Not A24, the podcast that takes a look at movies outside of the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we are avoiding the Flesh Fair and searching for the Blue Fairy as we discuss Steven Spielberg's A1 Artificial Intelligence. A
highly advanced robotic boy longs to become real so that he can regain the love of his human mother. We are beginning our deep dive into AI movies. Ben, we're on to a new theme, a new topic. We're kissing Disney theme park rides goodbye, and we are saying hello to AI, the hottest topic in the world right now, and something that I personally have never used because I'm so fucking scared of what might happen. But, you know, the creator is up on the horizon, and that is what we're working towards. I chose for this movie to kick us off on this whole path. I hadn't seen it yet, directed by the legendary Steven Spielberg. This movie is really fucking good.
All right, we're done. Less than 24
That's
minutes.
It. We nailed it. We wrapped it up.
We did it, everybody. This movie's really good. This movie is really good. This movie's awesome. I was also surprised the first time I saw it. I did not know what to expect. I do think there was a part of me that was anticipating Robin Williams and Bicentennial Man because I kind of got those confused. I was like, oh, wait, there's no Robin Williams in this. Okay, got it.
Listen, this movie is like 6 movies smashed together. It's basically a mini series that Steven Spielberg made it into a movie.
And does this movie for you, does this lock in Haley Joel Osment as the best child actor we've ever had? It's got to be up there.
It's got at least he has to be on Rushmore at least because I mean full spoilers ahead for artificial intelligence, but like especially the moment where it's found out that there's another David once he makes it to Manhattan and you get the turnaround. And I was just like, no fucking way. This is so sick. This is awesome. Yeah. And he has that like rat-a-tat with himself. I was like, this kid has it going on.
Yeah, he is wonderful in this. What year did this come out? Let's see. This came out in 2001.
2001. This movie looks sublime for coming out in 2001, by the way.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So he was 13 when this came out.
Are you kidding me? I'm almost 30 and I haven't done anything with my life. He is in a Steven Spielberg goated film when he's 13.
That's crazy. Yeah, wow. He's fantastic in this. We'll talk a lot about him, I'm sure, but yeah, I was excited to revisit this. We covered this on 3 films for our Spielberg round when I watched it for the first time, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is Spielberg dude, like he can lock in. There's an interesting history with this movie that it was going to be a Stanley Kubrick movie for the longest time, and then he handed it over to Spielberg. He's like, I think you'd be better at doing this than I would. This would have been Kubrick's last movie before he died. But Spielberg took over, and I think Kubrick died while he was working on this, something like that. So there's, kind of interesting to think about that aspect of it, but they worked on the script together. And I don't know, I want to hear what you have to say. Like I love this movie, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. Sure.
Well, this movie is of course directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Haley Joel Osment, Jude Law, Francis O'Connor, Sam Robarbs, Jake Thomas, who I recognize from Liz McGuire. Shout out. He was a little kid at that time as well. William Hurt, Clark Gregg as the quote unquote super nerd, which I thought was an elite role from Clark Gregg. Dude hasn't aged a fucking second in the last 22 years. And then the voices of Robin Williams as Dr. No and Meryl Streep as the Blue Fairy. Of course, spoilers ahead for AI, artificial intelligence. So this movie is interesting because it definitely has the Spielberg effect where I was about 50 minutes into it, about an hour into it. And that entire really first hour, the first act of the film, is, David, the robo boy kind of, becoming a boy and loving his mother and that entire backstory of things.
Yeah.
Once she drops David off in the forest, we take a very hard fucking cut to a very different type of movie for an hour and a half. And the first hour I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just don't know how I feel about this movie. Like, I just don't know if things are working for me. Like, there's a lot on the line in the last 90 minutes to like make me change my mind. And then Jude Law fucking does a little ditty and a little dance, and I was so sold on this movie. I was like, every 10 minutes, I was just like, that's sick. This is amazing. I mean, really phenomenal cast. And then in the final like 30 minutes, when David is unearthed by aliens, literally for 30 minutes, I was the only person in my home, and I'm just like, out loud, I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. Also, we fucking did it. Like, Steven Spielberg fucking did it. He brought me back, and I'm crying at David bringing his mother back by aliens. Where, like, I just, even like talking about it, I'm so confounded about where this movie starts and where it ends, but I think it's an excellent movie.
It's so good. I mean, you put it really well, where it is like it's 6 movies jammed into one. Like, there's so many. You could have just like kept this a family drama about like the son coming back and then having to deal with having a brother suddenly, like with getting attention from
and
mom
I
and
thought
dad.
That was going to be it for 2.5 hours, and I was like, this is not for me. But it wasn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't that, but I mean, you could make that movie. Like, that's not a problem at all. But then, yeah, we get, hey Joe, what do you know? You know, we get like, God. I mean,
elite lines.
Right?
Who am I missing? That is like, who runs the Flesh Fair? Why can I not think of Brendan Gleeson?
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson shows up, and I was just like, this guy's eating this part alive. The Moon on the Rise was so fucking cool when all the robots are like scurrying away. They're all searching for body parts, and then Moon on the Rise, and he comes out and he's like hunting AIs, and that was so cool to me.
And isn't Chris Rock one of the the comedian?
He does. He gets stuffed in a cannon and like shredded through a propeller. And I was like, fucking Chris Rock shows up for not a long time, but a good time.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. And then we get fucking Entourage, Adrian Grenier in the car. Like, it's just like, there's so many people in this. It's crazy. This movie is I don't know. It's great. I love this movie. It's cool to see him kind of do this like sci-fi shit. Like, he'd obviously done it before with like E.T. and the family drama. Spielberg's done just about everything, but it was cool to see this real futuristic thing. This movie takes place in 2142 and then in 4142, which is like weird to think about. Yeah.
Is that when and that's when the aliens come back. So 2142 is when Jude Law exists as a sex robot.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we're only 100 years away from that.
Why, as a society, have we not cast Jude Law as a sex robot in more movies? Because he was fucking incredible. Really dynamite role for this guy.
Cracks that neck and gets the music playing.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
So cool.
Yeah, he's got it all. He was perfect in that role. He was so good. And just the little details of stuff like this, like David never blinks in this movie until like the final like dream sequence thing where he spends the day.
Oh
with
my
his
God,
mom,
are you serious?
He becomes a real boy. That's the only time he
Oh
blinks.
my God.
Right? Like, isn't that crazy? Just stuff like those little details.
Spielberg, you madman. You did it.
You did it. Fucking Steve, you know,
my God.
He pulled it off. I don't know. There's so many fun facts with this movie. I was happy you picked it. I was worried. I didn't know if it'd be too on the nose and we would avoid it, but I think it's a great selection we have to kick off the AI round with AI for sure.
Of course, it has to be done. Gigolo Joe, probably one of like the top 10 character names of all time in a movie. Love to see it. What Do You Know, Joe? Of course. Just really, really fucking good stuff. When it took that hard left and like we became this different movie, I was so interested in that. Like, I would kill for like a miniseries about Gigolo Joe. Like, what's this guy up to? You know, like just take me to Rouge City and like let's just have a fucking good time. You know, I know it's very reminiscent, of course, of Blade Runner and other futuristic films, but like that sounds like so much fun. And honestly, I want to go back there. I want to do Spielberg rankings at the end of this, if that's something that you are maybe mentally prepared for.
Okay.
So brace yourself. You have like 10 minutes to figure it out. I'll start with my first true cinema moment, if that's okay. There's a very particular scene where the mom is wearing sunglasses, and this takes place at the pool. This is when, kind of in the first act still, when David and his brother comes back to life. and the mom is wearing sunglasses at the pool, and we get this incredible Matrix-like shot where the camera zooms so far to her and then whips around her head, but is so close to her sunglasses where I was just like, that was the Matrix. We just lived in the Matrix for like a millisecond. That was incredible. Something I feel like only Spielberg can pull off in this type of a setting. And that was just an excellent little hint of like, this is the energy that we're going to be taking on for the next 90 minutes. So like, prepare yourself. It's going to get really fun. That was such a great little Easter egg, little nugget there that I liked.
It's just this little like flash and flare that Spielberg's like, I'm just going to throw this in there. You know, like,
you guys know, like, you have no idea it's coming.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm one of the greatest of all time, and I'm just going to throw this in there as like, not a throwaway scene, but like, you know, it's like
pretty much a throwaway scene.
Yeah. Like a little transition scene, like, yeah, big deal. So, my first scene that I want to go over is when he is trying to show emotion while eating dinner, and he laughs at a joke.
Oh my God. I hated this part of the movie. It was so weird. Why are we doing this?
It is so weird, but I love it so much because he's like, well, I want to fit in. These people are laughing at something like he's too logical, like it doesn't make sense or whatever. And I'm not going to do it, but like the laugh, even this time, it just like, oh shit, like it's so jarring. And then it becomes funny for them too. It's like, oh, okay, we see what he's doing. Like, this is kind of hilarious. So one of my favorite scenes is it's just like, it can be creepy for sure. It can be really weird, but it's just like, it was the first thing I wanted to talk about.
It literally felt like Spielberg was like, okay, who can be the weirdest motherfucker on this set right now? And everybody just was vying for first place, whatever cash prize Stevie put up for the day, because that was the worst. And like the first time I saw it, I obviously didn't know it was coming. You at least had an idea of like, oh, he's gonna like Haley Joel Osment is gonna laugh really weird in like a couple of seconds. I was taken aback, and that was the moment where I was just like, I don't think this movie is for me. And now looking back, I'm just like, okay, that's just a stupid fucking moment, and it just still isn't for me, but it's okay. We can move past it. Okay, my second true cinema moment is the first time that we're introduced to Jude Law. The first 5 or 10 minutes that we get him, we understand that he is a lover mecca, and he changes his makeup and his hair with just like a move of his hand. He does his eyeshadow with like his fingers, and he shakes out his hair and is blonde. He changes his accent for the next person that he finds dead. Like, I think that right there would be a really interesting, like, you can definitely see where Spielberg wanted to go with Minority Report and that world he wanted to explore there that he just kind of touched on here. But I think Jude Law looks like a robot and acts like a robot and is so incredible that, you know, and everybody talks to him and is like, what do you know, Joe? Which is like elite level tagline.
It's so good. The scene of him knowing who is, like you said, just like changing who he is based on the client, stuff like that. It's like, oh, they really can just become anybody that you want. That's like pretty amazing to see.
That's the society I want to get to, where I can just have Jude Law as a sex robot.
Yeah, why not? I'm on board. I'll sign that petition.
Perfect. Let's get there as a society.
I want to talk about the Flesh Fair because it was this weird like Mad Max like Thunderdome craziness. It's where we meet Chris Rock's character very briefly, but just this whole thing of like, oh, there's a real boy in the cage. Like, it was like, oh, there's like, we realize how strange David is because no one has seen such a real looking boy before, because he is at that point he's a one of one, you know, he is like this replica, this like special project thing, and it's like, oh, that's a real kid, you know. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. I like him obviously saving Gigolo Joe, like grabbing his hand as he leaves, things like that. And just the idea of like, that's how in 2020 or in 2142, that's how we're going to entertain ourselves, is watching like, let's just fucking destroy these robots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give me some fucking cotton candy and then like launch this dude out of
let's fucking go.
Yeah. It's like out of a cannon or whatever. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of a cool thing
That's so many parts about this movie. I was just like, let's get there as a society. That looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, the flesh fair is sick. The idea that they have had an incident prior where there was someone that was not a robot that they did, obliterate in the flesh fair, is really fascinating. Again, like miniseries that shit, because I want to hear all about Brendan Gleeson's character and like how he got to that rank in the flesh fair. I think that'd be really fun. But yeah, I love that you call that out, because obviously when I saw the logo and like the t-shirts that people are wearing for the flesh fair, I was like, okay, if I love this movie, I need a shirt. Because if I ever saw somebody wearing that shirt, I'd be like, you are such a G for wearing a flesh fair t-shirt, dude. My last true cinema moment is the part where Gigolo Joe and David are basically trying to make their way to Manhattan, which is the end of the earth. No mechas are allowed there, right? They're trying to find the Blue Fairy and resolve this kind of mystery that they're on. When Gigolo Joe stops the people in the car and has like a little projection of girls from like, I think this is when they're going to Rouge City, excuse me. Has like a projection of the girl and is like, oh, you can have this, and like moves the projection down onto the guy's dick. I was just like, he gets it. This guy understands like what sells. Dude. And all he needed was a projection, and the guy's like, get in my fucking car. Let's drive right now.
Get me over there. Yeah.
I love that scene. I think it's hilarious. I think it's really fun. And the moment that they enter the city, we need a bridge in the world, if not in the United States of America, that has a mouth that you go into while you're crossing the bridge. I think that is just incredible stuff. I don't know what happened to our architecture teams. I don't know where we fell off, why that's not happening, but I request it, and I'd like it to happen. If we could just get a city where the entrance is a mouth that you have to go through, that'd be great.
I love it. I think I'm on board with that as well. I love all your ideas. I think we just have to wait 100 years, unfortunately. So
damn it.
Maybe our grandkids will be able to experience that.
I'm going to put that in my will. Like if a bridge exists, please cross this bridge for me.
You know, you can like sponsor a highway. You're going to want to sponsor that bridge. This mouth is sponsored by Ethan Simi.
Oh yeah. That's what I want my living legacy to be.
I love that though, because I mean, obviously so much of this movie is kind of a metaphor or like a version of Pinocchio. So this is us going to like Pleasure Island, and it's like kind of cool to see that, you know, like displayed here, and just very clearly and blatantly, like, yes, you are going in the mouth of something right now. Like you are headed to a place where all your needs can be met. So it's a great symbol, I guess, for what they're about to experience. Let's see. The last one for me is I feel like the brothers have like maybe tried to like get along with each other. I mean, not that David's not trying to get along with them. It's his asshole brother. I forget that kid's name.
Martin.
Yeah.
Dickhole name, honestly.
He is such a dick.
I did like the foreshadowing that he had with the spaceship where he's like, oh, it's cooler in parts. And I was like, that's okay. Got it. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yep. I like that. But it's the pool party and the kids are picking on David, wanting to see, you know, like whatever. Are you
want to see his penis?
Kind of stuff. Like, yeah, they want to see his. Yeah. Do you have anything like this is weird, you guys? Like what if he did have one? We'd be like, oh, cool. Like I don't know.
What do you do? Yeah. What's the end goal here?
Yeah. I have one of those. That's cool. But it's like David asking Martin to protect him and then like falling into the pool, and just it's a pretty intense scene. And I don't know. I love that scene. I think it's a good example of the disconnect that David has from the real world. Cause obviously like nothing's going to affect him down there. Like this is a good place for him to hide, but Martin's like scared for his fucking life, you know, cause like I can't breathe. I'm being held down by, you know, and then I think this is one of like the final straws. It's like, we have to get rid of David, but it comes off of all these other misunderstandings of him, you know, doing bad things or whatever. So just a cool scene. I like the suspense of it. And just an example of how things can look differently than they actually are. It can look like David like threw him into the pool, but it's just like he just wanted to be protected by his brother. Like this was actually the opposite of what people think it is. And I don't know. I enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, it's a good call out. We haven't mentioned Teddy at all, which is just the creepiest looking teddy bear ever. Yeah. Okay, we have 4 minutes left. Are you ready to do some form or fashion of a Spielberg ranking? Because we're just gonna do it. No explanations, no deep dives, because we could do a 2-hour pod on Spielberg rankings. So
maybe we should on our other pod.
Not
ranking.
A bad idea. I like that.
How many are we doing? Top 5?
Sure, top 5 is fine. No, let's do top 8.
Fuck. All right. It sounds like you've got yours.
Did you have fun? Well, here's the thing. Okay, we can do top 5.
No, we can do whatever.
I will say number 8 for me is Raiders, which might come as a shock to a lot of people. Number 7 is Minority Report. I just didn't want to leave that off the list. I love Minority Report. And AI is number 6. So if we're doing top 5, AI does not fall in my top 5 Spielberg rankings.
Interesting. Okay.
Go ahead with your top 5 though, because I want to hear them.
Well, I'm going to do 8. If you're doing 8, I'm going to try to put this together. So let's see here.
Okay. I'll finish mine off. Let me finish mine off. So 8 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. 7, Minority Report, a movie that so many people sleep on. 6 is AI. Number 5, and people are really going to be up in arms about this. Ready Player One. I love Ready Player One. I know you do too, Ben. We can agree on that. The Fabelmans at number 4. Jaws at number 3. Last Crusade at number 2, and Jurassic Park at number 1.
Okay.
That's where I have all. That's my current top 8 for Spielberg. I haven't seen all Spielberg films, but just that's where I sit for the top 8 as of now.
All right, I like it. I respect it. Here are mine. Number 8, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Number 7,
seen it.
Catch Me If You Can.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Saving Private Ryan.
Catch
Me If You Can is a sleeper, I think. I love that movie.
It is. It's because it doesn't feel Spielberg. It feels so different to me. But again, another pod. Great interest.
You have arguably 2 of the greatest American actors that we've ever had, Leo
in
and
that
Tom
time
Hanks.
period too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like with Spielberg, like it's money. I'm covering up the clock with like my list here. I have no idea what kind of time we have. 1.5 minutes. Oh, fuck. Okay.
95 seconds, Ben. Get the
6,
lead out,
Saving
brother.
Private Ryan. 5, E.T. 4, maybe controversial take here, West Side Story.
Wow,
3,
that's a hot take.
Jurassic Park. Number 2, Hook. And number 1 is Jaws. That's
this is so fucked up because you haven't seen any single Indiana Jones film. That's
I've
unbelievable.
seen Crystal Skull. That's number 9.
Oh, that does not even count. It's not even the same thing.
Hey, let's make this collaborative draft.
2 Indiana Jones films in my top 8. Okay, Spielberg collaborative draft coming on the A24 pod feed sometime before the end of the year. We're going to make it happen because this is way too contentious. AI, great movie. We're talking about other AI movies in the coming weeks, capping off with The Creator, the brand new AI movie basically coming out in just a few weeks. Would this fit in the A24 catalog? Not at all. It's really too fucking weird and it's too elite, to be honest with you. It's too big budget.
Yes, it would.
You're going to make me go overtime for this? We're going to do overtime for AI.
We did it.
We did it. Okay. Next week, we're talking about Ghost in the Shell, not the ScarJo version. So don't worry about that. The original 1995 anime movie. Yep. Incredible stuff. Can't wait to check it out. Haven't watched it. AI, excellent Spielberg flick.
Everyone, let us know your thoughts on AI. We're on Twitter and Instagram at 24 minutes of A24. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and ring the bell and do all that shit. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. It means
every week it just gets more rushed. I'm
going to condense it. I'm Ben Lawhorn.
I'm Ethan Simi, and spinach is for Real Boys, not Robo Boys.
Whoa.
I think as long as it gets in before the 0 blinks, then we're good.
It's not like the shot is in the air and then the clock runs out, but like the ball's in the air.
Ball's in the air. As long as I land the plane before the 0 blinks, I feel confident about that decision.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue for a hot sauce punishment.